Hey guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, welcome to our how to build Arum video. I'm really excited about this one. I always love doing new how to build videos for heroes that are just getting released. And Arum of course has been out since Friday, so not very long at all. We're going to be getting to you guys a very solidly, actually we're going to be getting to 3 very solid, useful builds that you can use to get your Arum gameplay to the next level. Now we're going to, as always, quickly recap a little bit about who Arum is, what our abilities do, so we can best figure out how to build a set of items that best fit her kit and her abilities. Arum's passive is Ravenous Beast. Arum's spirits deal damage based on the target's maximum HP. So of course, Arum hits her first ability, she gets these little lions or beasts circling her. She can do up to 3 of them. Every time they hit an enemy, they will do damage based on AP scaling. It's very low at 0.5. And then 3% of the target's maximum HP as magic damage, and it'll heal Arum based on a base of 80, AP scaling of 0.4, and 3% of the hero's maximum HP. That's your maximum HP whenever they hit an enemy. So anytime you hit an enemy with one of those beasts, and you can do up to 3 circling you at a time, you do damage and you receive health. If the beast hit a minion, then Arum is only healed for 1% of her maximum HP. So in the jungle, and of course not minions. Then we go to the first ability, Lion Tamer. Now this is one I was talking about. Lion Tamer's cooldown is 5 seconds. Arum unleashes a roar that deals a flat damage of 275, AP scaling of 0.5, and then of magic damage, and summons a spirit beast. And then you get the lion circling you, and those are the ones. Now as they hit people, they do damage and heal you, like we discussed in the passive. While beasts are active, using the skill and again and damaging an enemy will reduce the cooldown by 50%. So if you have a beast around you, and then you do the ability, and you deal damage with the AoE, and you spawn another beast, it will reduce the cooldown by 50% to 2.5 seconds. And then Arum can summon up to 3 beasts. The number of beasts determines the power of her second ability, Uncage. Her second ability, Uncage, has a 6-second cooldown static throughout the entire game. Arum consumes all her spirit beasts, so depending on how many you have circling you at a time, 1, 2, or 3, she'll consume all of them to spawn a lion that charges at the target direction. So you'll be able to cast it on the ground as a circle, and it'll deal obviously a flat 500 damage, goes up to 1,000, and then it scales an AP ratio of 0.6. And then Arum gains a short speed boost afterwards. The speed boost isn't really anything worthwhile, but it is something. The lion charges ahead, so you'll cast it in a circular area, kind of like you would, Diachan's freeze or any ability, or Alice's ultimate, or Alice's stun even. Anything that really casts in a circular fashion. And then, based on the direction that you're casting it, it will bounce once, it'll hit that one circle, and it'll do different things based on how many charges you have. On the first charge, it'll hit that one spot you cast it on, and everyone in it will take the damage, and they will get their movement speed reduced by 50% for 1 second. Now, if you do 2 charges up, it'll hit that spot and then bounce a 50% forward. So the next circle will be half in the circle you have, and then half out. And that one will do, the second spot that it hits will do the damage and 90% movement reduction speed, reducing enemies' movement speed by 90% for 1 second. And then if you have 3 charges, it'll bounce again, half out, half in of the next one, and based on the direction you're aiming it, and that one will do a 1-second stun. So that is the second ability in Cage. In the ultimate, the cooldown starts at 50, goes to 40 at level 3. Arum summons her 3 spirit beasts, so she immediately gets the 3 beasts circling her and binds herself to the target hero for 2.5 seconds while active. So they are connected really close together. It's like Alish's ult, where she can't do anything, the other person can't do anything, but except for at the distance, they're really close together. And Arum's her beasts surrounding her, the 3 beasts that she spawns instantly with the ultimate, are going to deal damage to the target as well as heal her. Here's the kicker. While active, both Arum and the enemy hero are immobilized, and damage taken by either one will be replicated to the other. This spell cannot be interrupted, and Arum cannot attack or use abilities while it is active. So this is kind of the big thing about Arum. The reason why Arum, somebody who does a lot of magic damage, isn't considered a class tank slash mage, even though she does a lot of magic damage, is because if you build her full mage, her ultimate is useless, because the damage that is done to either one is replicated on the other. If you kill the other person, you also kill yourself. So you have to have more health and tankiness than the other person in order to be able to ult them, get them killed, and survive it yourself. It can be useful, but you have to build very, very, very tanky to get that done. So we're going to show you 3 builds today. 2 full tank builds and 1 off tanky build. It's still very tanky, but it still got a little bit more damage to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the equipment page. And of course, as always, we're going to be showing you guys the main build that I would recommend for you guys to take on Arum. And we're going to be starting that off with, now this is true to whether you're in the jungle or in lane. This is the main build I recommend in both, and obviously that will include a jungle item, that's Leviathan. And the reason why is because the amount of healing that Arum receives is based on her total health, because it's 3% of the maximum HP that she has. So, excuse me. So we want to build as much health on her as possible, and Leviathan gives us a really fresh, tanky start to the game at 120 armor, 800 at max HP. Now, I will give you guys one bit of information. The unique passive Flame Magic deals damage, but here is kind of the ticker on that. The range is not great on Flame Magic. So it does magic damage based on flat and then per level. And it's useful to a lot of heroes, and you would think it'd be really useful on Arum because it would stack on top of the damage she's already doing with her 3 beasts that are circling her. But the problem is that there's a minimum range on the beast, so if people get too close to you, your beasts aren't hitting them anymore. And there's a max range on Leviathan, which isn't that big, so there's not actually a big range where you're still close enough to do Leviathan's burn, but you're not too close to where you're not doing the damage from the beast. But on the flip side, you could be doing the damage from the beast, but not you're gonna be too far to do Leviathan's burn. So the Leviathan Mantle Rock combo actually does not work on her properly, because out of all the ranges that you have there in kind of that area, essentially from her body all the way to the end of Leviathan, it's only like a 20% range where they both are gonna work. So we're not doing this for the burn though, we're doing it for the health. The other passive is Wild, increasing maximum HP by 70 for every monster killed, stacks up to 15 times. So this is going to give you an extra 1150, giving the Leviathan a total of 1950 on the health, which is the second highest health item in the game. And that's why we're going this item, is because it's just a really solid item. Plus the passive, or the talent Punish, which turns into Frostbite, is one of the best talents in the game. It's a slow, it's AoE damage, it is slow. It does AoE damage, it slows everyone around you, which is really solid. And then we're gonna go Boots, of course. We're gonna go Gilded Greaves, and the reason we're going Gilded Greaves, it's pretty simple. She has very low mobility. That mobility is one of the big issues on Arum, so we're going to give her not only magic defense to start off the game, but we're gonna give her the unique passive resistance, and it's gonna reduce all crowd control effects, whether it's slow or stun or knock up or knock back or anything of that sort. We're gonna reduce that by 35% with the passive, and we're going to, instead of being stunned or slowed for a second, we're gonna be stunned or slowed for 0.65 seconds, which of course is a big time upgrade for that, especially for somebody as important on, it's more important than most people on Arum because she can be very easily kited because of her low mobility. Okay, then we're going back to defense, and this is gonna be a full balls to the wall tank build, I'm letting you guys know right now. And we're gonna be going with Crimson Banner. Crimson Banner gives us 200 armor, 1500 max HP, and a great passive, Bloody Battle. It restores 20% of her HP over 5 seconds after earning a kill or assist. So there is a 10-second cooldown, but there's a solid chance you could earn Crimson Banner twice in one fight, depending on how the fight goes. 10 seconds is kind of a medium to long range team fight, but it's possible. Even if it just procs once, it's still worth it. So why is this great? Because Arum already has natural healing going on from her passive, which is gonna, every time one of those beasts hits somebody that are circling you, you're gonna get 3% of her health. So we're building a lot of health. 1500 max HP is the 3rd highest health item in the game, behind Leviathan and Amulet of Longevity. So, but we like to sustain. So now we're double healing. We're healing on the passive and we're healing on Crimson Banner, and then we're going to go for the triple heal with the 4th item being Gaia Standard. Now we're getting 240 magic defense. We combine that with what we have in Gilded Greaves. That gives us 350 magic defense at this point in the game. And we have 120 here and 200. And we have 320. So 320 armor. We have 350 magic defense, and then health-wise, we have 1950 from Leviathan, plus 1500. I'm going to use the calculator for this so we can keep adding all this up. So 1950 plus the 1500 from Crimson Banner, plus the 1200 from Gaia Stater. So far we have 4,650 HP, which is a very solid start to this game for us and our health. And then the fifth item might be a little bit of a shocker to you. I hope it's not, because I think it's a great item on her as a whole, and that's Asterian's Buckler. So I'll tell you why. There's a couple different reasons why we're going with Asterian's Buckler. We get 1,000 more health, which is going to put us at a beautiful 5650, which is just awesome. We get some HP per 5 seconds, which is just nice for sustain, but nothing really game changing for her this late because she life steals naturally so much anyways. The passive is great. Now, Arum's best playing potential spot is going to be either support, and that's most of the time going to be support, or an occasional top lane. Either way, by the time you're getting your fifth item, team fights are going to be heavy parts of the game, and so what we get from the passive is increasing the damage dealt by all your nearby friendly units and herself by 5%, and reducing the damage that you take by 10% for you and all the people around you. So this is a team-oriented item, number one, but it is really better for her. So let me tell you why Asterian's Buckler at this point is better for her. We don't want to get too much into diminishing returns with armor and magic resist. We have a solid amount of armor at 320, and we have a solid amount of magic resist at 350. We're stacking max amounts of health, but remember, the more armor you build, the less it's worth. The way armor works, and I'll show you real quick, going to our attribute pages. So as you guys can see under the magic defense and the armor, we have 99 armor. She has 99 armor base on her kit, and it reduces 14.1% of the physical damage that comes into her. With magic defense, she has a base of 50, and it reduces 7.6% of the magic damage that is dealt to her. Now, the more armor you put on, the less percentage it takes. So for the first 100, as you can see for armor, for example, it reduces about 14% of the physical damage coming in. The next 100 will reduce less. The next 100 will reduce even less. The next 100 will reduce even less. So the more armor you get, the less reduction of damage you actually receive. That's why it's called diminishing returns. The more you put into it, the less you get. So we don't want to overblow armor and magic defense and not receive the full benefits. Health does not give diminishing returns. Health continues to stack on stacking on stacking. So health is nice to get for that purpose. Not only is it nice to get for that purpose, but it works really well with their passive because it's based on your maximum HP. But at this point in the game, if we build more armor and magic defense, it likely won't be worth as much as just a flat 10% damage reduction, period. Not only will the armor, so like we could get something like Hyoga's Edge here, which gives us a flat 100 of each. Well, that 100 in the first place, at the very first 100 you got, was worth 14%. Well, at this point where we're rocking 320 and 350 respectively, that next 100 is not going to be worth 14. It's going to be worth more like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's going to be worth more like 5 to 7%, really less than half. It diminishes the quality of the damage reduction from armor and magic defense very quickly and very substantially. So the 10% reduction damage is not only better, but we're going to be giving that buff to our teammates, which is better for Arum, who can't. In team fights, Arum doesn't really provide a whole lot of stuff, so for her to be able to give more and more via the build is even better. So Asterian's Buckler is the next item, and of course we're going to be finishing it off, last but not least, with Amulet of Longevity, and this is absolutely a 100% no-brainer. 1700 max HP is the highest in the game. Now, technically, yes, Leviathan gives you 1950, Amulet only gives you a 1700, but you got to remember, it also gives you 10% extra at max HP across the board. So in this case, I'm going to be giving the 1700 on here to the 5650 we already had, and now we're rocking a full 7350, but then you add 10% and you're getting another 700. So really, in this case, for example, Amulet of Longevity is worth right shy of 2500 health. So that's why it's the highest thing. And we're also getting more HP for 5 seconds. So like really, her health regen at this point, you're talking about 160 HP per 5 seconds. You're getting lifesteal from the Beast. You're getting lifesteal from Crimson Banner. You're getting lifesteal from Gaia Standard. And as if that wasn't enough yet, the other passive, I'm Golden, increases all forms of healing taken by 20%. Now, what does that mean to you in this scenario? Her passive is going to heal for 20% more. Crimson Banner is going to heal for 20% more. And Gaia Standard is going to heal for 20% more. So now, instead of healing for 3% of the maximum HP, so let's say right now we have 85 on the HP that we're getting from the build. And we've already discussed in her natural kit, as you guys can see, has 3201. Now, this isn't an exact math because some stuff scales differently. You get arcane and stuff like that, but let's just give you a rough estimate. We add 3201 to what we have already. That gives us 11,286. Okay, so then we're going to add. Now we're gonna multiply that times 0.03 to see exactly how much. So she's gonna heal 338.58. So, but this is rather than 339 health per beast hit. Okay, well then you're going to increase that by 20%. Now that's going to go from, that's an extra 67 health. So now you're talking about getting 400 health per ball hit, per beast hit around her. Plus you're increasing the healing done from Crimson Banner and Gaia Standard, which this is 20% of her maximum HP. So if the HP again is 11,000 and some change, 20% of that is going to be 2250. Now you add on 20% more, and you're taking that to 2700. So you're adding about 500 extra health. I mean, it's nice, guys. And then of course, Gaia Standard does 8% over 2 seconds. So you're gonna be, I mean, the regeneration of health is going to be mind-blowingly large on her. It already is great, and it's going to be even way better because of this build. Not only because the fact that the Crimson Banner and Gaia Standard combination is going to add to her healing and her sustain, but because we've built her health pool so large that she's going to be getting more per percentage point. So I absolutely love this build. I'll tell you guys right now, the damage scaling on her with her AP is poor, and it isn't worth building very much magic, ability power or magic damage on her at all, because it isn't going to turn into much. Now, with a really solid build like this, Arum is one of the best in the game at soaking in damage. She can take more damage than almost any hero in the game, maybe the best in the game. I haven't really fully tested it out, but she seems like she's virtually impossible to kill when she's built very, 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 very tanky, and this build is going to provide that for you. And not to mention, you have so much health and so much sustain that if you ult somebody under tower with this build, they can die. You can receive all the damage that happens to them, because that's what the ultimate does, and you won't even have barely lost health because she regenerates so fast, and she is able to absorb all of a squishy's damage, and it'd be like no big deal to her because she has so much health. So this is build number 1. Build number 2. I know some of you guys are religiously opposed to taking punish in lane. So build number 2 is a similar build, but it doesn't have Leviathan, and instead we're going to switch out the order, and we're going to take Hyoga's Edge 5th. Now this is nice because we're going to be an armor, magic defense, 1200 HP, which is less than the 1950, but it's still a decent amount. And then we're going to get the passive, Biting Cold, normal attacks, increase the wearer's movement speed. So you're going to get an increase in movement speed, and you're going to reduce the movement speed of the person you're attacking. Now that can be helpful when you're needing to close the gap a little bit to be able to get that ult off under a tower, or to start a team fight, or for peeling, whatever purpose that you have for it. So we're going to do Crimson Banner, Gilded Greaves, Gaia Standard, Asterian's Buckler, Hyoga's Edge, and Amulet of Longevity again for the full tank build if you're just absolutely opposed to using Leviathan and using Punish in lane. Then the third build we're going to give you has a little bit of damage. This is not the right build. Hold on. Apocalypse is not the item. I was testing it out. We are going to be going with Hyoga's Edge on this also, and it's just a slight alteration to this, Asterian's Buckler. It's a slight alteration. It's going to give you a little bit more damage. It's still pretty tanky, but we're going to throw Orb of the Magi as the first item. Again, you can't go too much ability power, or you will be too squishy to really play her kit properly. So I'm not going to give you guys a build that's gonna screw you over. I believe in taking her virtually full tank. Now the reason why Orb of the Magi works, for a couple of different reasons. She uses a lot of mana early game. So if you go with the first build we talked about, or the second build, you're going to need to get probably a Pendant of Faith or 2. The Pendant of Faith give you mana per 5 seconds. they're going to help you sustain your mana early game when she uses quite a bit. But if you go with this build, Over the Magi gives you 20% of your HP and mana over 3 seconds every time you level up. So that's actually going to be a natural sustain that's going to keep you sustaining, so you won't have to buy Pendants of Fate. But what do you else get from Over the Magi? Well, you get 140 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, which are both fine on her. They're going to give her a little bit of damage. The cooldown reduction is going to allow her to do her abilities a little more frequently, nothing crazy. But it's the unique passive that gives her 12 ability power and 110 HP every 30 seconds up to 10 times. So in 5 minutes flat, you're going to end up getting ability power, 120 more ability power, giving her 260 total, and 1100 HP. So this build does come with HP. It's 1100 is a solid amount. In fact, in this build, you get 1200. In this build, you're going to end up getting 1100. So if you like the mana regen of this build with Orb of the Magi and you like the ability to do a little more damage because of some ability power, this is not a bad alternative. Now, these are the 3 builds that we're going to be going with that are going to make your ARAM gameplay as best as it can be. Now we're going to we're going to go talk about the Arcana. Arcana for Arum should be as following. Purples, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the purples I want you to take are going to be Onslaught. Why Onslaught is a great question. I know you're all thinking it. JK, not Onslaught. Wrong one. It is Violate. Why Violate? Because I want you to be able to... Okay, so we could throw on Indomitable, for example. Attack speed is worthless on her. Now you get 337 HP and you get 23 armor. Oh, that's not too bad. In the grand scheme of things, it's not worthwhile. It's going to make you a little bit tanky early game. She gets tanky really quickly, guys. The sustain is good with the lifesteal. She doesn't need this early game. What she does need early game is cash money. That's what Violet is going to help you with. It's going to help you farm just a little bit faster, do damage to things a little bit quicker. So early game, you're able to get gold faster. It just makes enough of a difference on her for her damage. I mean, with this build, she's already top 1, 2, 3 in ability to take damage. We want to give her a little bit of more ability to give damage to help farm faster and do more damage late game. This is going to help out with that. Some Violate. The second one we're going to take in purple is... There's a couple different directions we could go with this. I am okay with... Devour is my absolute best recommendation. Some more ability power early game for that farming ability and all that jazz. So now Magic Lifesteal is nice. This is going to give us 10% extra healing for every bit of magic damage we do with the beasts. With all of our abilities, we're going to receive 10% more healing in. So this just makes her sustain even better. Or if you want to go sap for a total of 16% Magic Lifesteal, I'm okay with that also. It's not going to be world-changing, game-changing, but it's 16% more health regeneration on a hero that already is really hard to kill. It's going to make her even tankier. And then for greens, this is where you can go a couple different directions. I'm okay with you going on Valiance for 375 HP and some cooldown speed. I'm okay with you going Focus for just straight 10% cooldown reduction, so you can get that ultimate off even more frequently. You know, it's not a bad thing to have. But my preferred ability for you to go with this is going to be Hex. I'd rather you have 24 more ability power and 7% more cooldown reduction in order to, again, make her be able to farm faster. If she can stay consistent in her gold intake, she'll be able to stay consistent with those items, and she's going to be extremely difficult to kill. Those are the Arcanas that I would suggest. Now, last but not least, talents. Obviously, for taking the first build, you're going to be taking Punish. The alternative talents that I will suggest to you is Heal. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Heal. I don't think it really makes a lot of sense on her because her sustain is so good. Now, you can take Heal because you're playing support and you want to heal your teammates. Now, that's a good thing. And that's why Heal is a great talent on her. And the other option is Flicker. She has very low mobility and she can be kited with crowd control. Flicker helps you get into position to where you need to be able to, you know, do that ultimate, or just to be able to flicker yourself into the fight and be able to have those beasts doing damage and sustaining your health. Both of those are going to be great along with Punish if you want to take the first build. But guys, that is it for the Arum how to build video. I'll give you guys a recap on the builds real quick. This is the main build: Leviathan, Gilded Greaves, Crimson Banner, Gaia Standard, Asterian's Buckler, and of course Amulet of Longevity. And then her second build is going to be Crimson Banner, Gilded Greaves, Gaia Standard, Astarion's Buckler, Hyoga's Edge, and Amulet of Longevity. And build 3 is Orb of the Magi, Gilded Greaves, Crimson Banner, Gaia Standard, Astarion's Buckler, and Amulet of Longevity. But again, this is the build I recommend most because it is the one that makes her the most overall the best, I think. So guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the Arum how to build video. I am really looking forward to producing a lot more videos for you guys in the upcoming weeks, as Cal and I are both back in business 100%. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, until next time.